And we are live. Good evening, everybody. My name is Roger Morgan. I'm the founder and CEO of Pottery, and we have declared today Pottery Day, and you'll see why in a minute. We've got so much. We've just had a blast today. We've been live every hour on the hour since 9 a.m. We've got 4 more sessions, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to go. So much wonderful words of wisdom shared by many of our veterinarians on our advisory council, other pet pros, yourselves and your comments. We've just had a wonderful, amazing day. And today we've got, at this hour, we've got 2 special guests you see here with me. Please give a big welcome to Brooke Sloat, our Director of Product Development. Hello, Brooke.
Hey, Roger. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this segment. It's going to be great.
Yes, it is. And then, of course, please also help me welcome Dr. Bernadine Cruz, all the way from California, virtually today. Welcome, Dr. Bernadine. So glad to have you.
Thank you. And every day is Pottery Day. Really? Come on now, Roger.
That's very true. That is very true. Well, this is going to be fun. We've got a topic that I know many people struggle with your pets. And we've combined a couple topics. One is bladder issues with dogs and cats, and the other is hairball issues with our cats. So anything in that kind of realm, if you've got questions here in a few minutes, pop them into the chat, and we'll see if we can answer them and have Dr. Bernadine answer them. In the meantime, before we get started on that subject, and before we have Brooke really help us dig deep into all of the wonderful information that's in Dr. Bernadine's head, and help help empower us as pet parents. Before we do that, let's have some fun. We've got another drawing we're going to do. So we've been doing a drawing every hour at the top of the hour, and let me do a screen share here and share with you what we are, what's available. So if your name is selected, you can choose 2 of our bowls that you see here on the website. You can choose any of our beds, these beautiful, luxurious beds with different fabric. You can choose any of our blankets. Again, very comfortable and luxurious, and a lot of beautiful designs. And these are, very, very nice quality products. So feel free. That's what you will get to select from. If your name is chosen, we're going to draw 3 names, and those names, the way to be eligible for the drawing is simply to, at some point today, to place an order with Pottery, and as soon as you place an order, you will be entered into the next drawings for the rest of the evening. Or you can become a pet pro today, and if you do that, you will also be entered automatically into the drawing. So with that, shall we do a drum roll, ladies? And all right. Oh, Bernadine, you must have been a drummer at some point. That was good. That was really good. All right. So let's see. Karen has been wonderful today. Thank you, Karen, on doing the drawings and getting people's names entered into the drawing. And our winners for this 5 o'clock session are Nikki Casino from California, and Nikki is a brand new pet pro. Congratulations, Nikki. So we've got a
Welcome.
Yes, welcome to the Pottery family. It's a wonderful day to join. I'm sure you learned a lot today. The next drawing winner is Lauren Rose from Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Lauren.
Awesome.
And the last one that we will draw is Brandy Rausch from Maryland. So congratulations to each of you. You will get an email later this evening to give you some details on how to claim your prize. But congratulations to all of you. All right, so shall we turn to this wonderful topic of bladder and also hairballs? Are we going to start with bladder, Brooke? Because I've got a video I wanted to share.
I think we'll start with bladder.
All right, so let's do this. I'm going to again share my screen. And I'm going to take us here to our YouTube channel page. And we've got a whole variety of wonderful videos. And here we're going to play, it's about a 1-minute video on bladder support.
Urinary tract infections, also known as UTIs, are relatively common in dogs and cats. Common symptoms are drinking more water, urinating more frequently, and not being able to hold their urine as long as normal. UTIs take time, veterinary visits, and testing to resolve. It can be a real hassle for a pet parent.
If your pet is prone to UTIs, you want something that's going to prevent it from happening again. Paw Tree's Bladder Support Plus is an all-natural supplement that will help prevent bladder infections from reoccurring. It contains healthy, natural ingredients that promote optimal urinary tract health, function, and maintain normal urine pH. It contains a unique blend of ingredients like D-mannose, cranberry, glucosamine, and marshmallow root, which soothe irritation, help to reduce inflammation, and prevent bacteria from adhering to the bladder lining.
Our cat AJ, he's a big male orange cat, and he's always had issues. If he gets stressed, he will have a UTI. Now just being able to give him this chewable that I just mix into his food every day just makes him feel a lot better, and he's a normal cat again. I don't have to have the vet bills of going and getting prescription food and antibiotics.
Paw Tree's Bladder Support Plus is a natural supplement and safe to give your pets every day. Say goodbye to UTIs.
Wonderful. All right, so let me stop sharing there and go back to your beautiful faces. All right, so turn it over to you, Brooke. Let's see what we can learn and see how we can help these wonderful pets in our families with bladder and UTI issues.
All right. All right, let's get started because we get lots of questions about urinary tract issues. So, Bernadine, can you tell us what we need to know as pet parents about UTIs, urinary tract issues, and how to recognize a potential problem in your dog or your cat?
Well, urinary tract issues really are very, very common. According to nationwide pet insurance, in the top 10 reasons last year why pets were taken, dogs and cats were taken to their veterinarian, it was number 9 for dogs and number 1 for cats. Now, just because they're having a urinary issue doesn't necessarily mean that it's bacteria. It can be, but the things that you would see is number 1, as that video said, all of a sudden a pet that's urinating more, drinking more water, asking to go outside more frequently, maybe having an accident in the house. And if you have a cat, maybe it's not using its cat box as well as it used to be. You always need to keep in mind, I'll ask questions, was your dog fully house trained before this happened? No, periodically have accidents. Or did your cat always use the box? No, how often do you clean it? So there's a lot of background things you need to investigate too, but all in all, common.
Okay. Well, thank you. So are there some pets that are more prone to getting urinary tract issues?
The older pets, typically you don't find a infection in younger dogs and cats. It's typically as they get older. Now, some can be predisposed for other anatomical reasons. So if you were to look at that little girl dog walking away from you with a tail up in the air, you should see the little round of the rectum, a little bit of skin called the perineum, and you should see that via the vulva hanging down below. But sometimes you have a little extra skin. They're not always overweight, but yes, the chubby ones have more problems. You have this little overhang. So basically they're getting a diaper rash type of an issue. So those kids can get it. Pets that are
Did we?
I think she just froze. See if she comes back in a second. Lives, you gotta love them. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, back again. So I'm just sitting here. I didn't even touch a button, but yes, craziness can happen to your bladder or to your computer.
The show goes on either way, and that's okay. That's right.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you think your pet has a bladder infection, first thing you need to do is get to your veterinarian, have a lot of questions asked. Some of them will seem crazy, especially like with cats. How often do you clean the cat box? Because if you say, oh, you're probably cleaning the cat box, oh, I don't know, maybe like 3 times a week. In reality, you're probably cleaning it twice. And then the question I always ask is, so how often do you flush your toilet after you use it? Of course, each time. Well, your kitty would prefer that also. So one of the things to do to keep that box as pleasant as possible, get in there daily and clean it up at least once a day. Twice is even better for your kitty.
Wonderful.
That is awesome. Yes, cats like clean boxes. I've often heard that from friends who own cats that the cat would watch them clean the litter box, and once they cleaned it, they jump in and go to the bathroom because they're waiting for the clean litter box. Yeah. Okay. All right. So another question, magnesium. Magnesium comes up a lot regarding UTIs. Why is that important? Why is diet important?
Well, diet's important because cats and dogs are both prone to getting crystals in their urine. Now, there's always minerals in their food. There needs to be minerals in their food, but sometimes there can be an imbalance, or if there's an infection, for instance. Many of the bacteria will break down some of the chemicals that are in the food and will act as a center around which these minerals can form. Magnesium and phosphate are some of the most common ones. So then you can get little bits of grit. And if you get grit, it's uncomfortable in there. And if you get grit that gets too large, you can get a stone. And if you get stones that are too large, you get a rock. And then you have an expensive surgery. So you want to feed an appropriate diet, one that keeps the urine pH where it's supposed to be. Not too low, not too high. And pottery foods do an awesome job of keeping that pH right where it's supposed to be. So that's important. But you want to keep those crystals conforming because they're uncomfortable and they can irreversibly damage the lining of the bladder. Oftentimes you don't know where it's there. And if you have a male dog or a male cat, it can cause a urinary obstruction. That's a medical emergency and that can be a life sentence. Terrible.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I know I've heard that it's very important that pets drink when they have urinary tract infections, I assume to move everything through their body. However, cats aren't big on drinking. Is there a reason why?
Cats genetically, they came from a desert dwelling animal. So they don't need to drink a lot of water. They will get their water from their prey, what they're eating. So the lions out in the Kalahari, there's no water for months on end. So where are they getting their water? They're getting it from the blood, the meat of the animals that they're taking down. So trying to induce a cat to drink water can be tough. It's not impossible. Sometimes getting a fountain, so recirculating fountain, that makes it exciting. That can help. You can put a little bit of beef broth or chicken broth, like ice cubes that you make, float that in it so it tastes better. It's kind of like me. Plain water, not so exciting, but if I put something in it, a little flavor, it's like, oh yeah, I can drink more of that. So keeping them drinking, it helps to dilute down their urine and any crystals don't have a chance to find each other. And it also helps to flush away the bacteria that could be in the bladder, like many of the ingredients that are in your bladder support product, I should say, that pottery makes. It keeps it from adhering to the bladder wall, so it just slides on out.
Awesome. So let's just, cut to the chase. I've just learned my pet has a UTI. What do I do?
Number one, give the medication that the doctor gives you. That's so important. So if you don't give it and give it for the entire length of time, they may start feeling better after a day or two. But if you stop and there's a bacterial infection, you've killed off the easy to kill bugs, and the bad bugs, the tough bugs, are still there, and they can come back even stronger and be harder to kill the second or third time around. And if they keep getting these low-grade bacterial infections, it can irreversibly damage the bladder itself, so it may never be normal. And that bacteria can go back up the tubes, go into the kidneys, and cause irreversible kidney damage. So give the antibiotics till they're gone, give any special food that they recommend, and you might even ask if something like the bladder support product is going to be appropriate, because you want to keep it from happening again.
Right. So we always say Bladder Support Plus is not it's a preventative. So once you know that your pet has a UTI, you want to clear the UTI
Yep.
first. And once so whether it's putting it, whatever the doctor tells you to do, put it on a special diet. And generally the prescription diets are the diets make them want to drink more. That's part of what the diet, I think, is designed to do. So it gets them to drink more, so things get flushed through. So once they're cleared of that diet, then they can go, if they go, back on whatever diet they were on, then you want to prevent this from happening, because I've gone through this multiple times with pets. And once you do it one time, you don't want to have to do it again. So bladder support really is a lifesaver. You touched on some things about, some of the ingredients, but why is bladder support so effective?
It's effective because it really addresses multiple factors. So it's not just trying to keep the pH normal. Food can do that. The cranberry is really more to keep the line in the bladder very slick. So again, that bacteria just slides out. It decreases inflammation that's in the bladder. So put all of this together, it's just that really 1, 2, 3 work in synergy to be a really good product.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's really effective. I'm reading things in the comments of what people are saying. I did want to, before we switch gears, to go and talk about Hairball. I do want to see if we could talk about, there's a couple of questions in here that I thought were kind of interesting, but I need to scroll and find them. So give me 1 second. Roger, did you see anything that you?
Yeah, I've got one. This is from Candy. She says, my daughter has an American bully. She just turned 1 year. She's been having blood in her urine. The vet says she has crystals, so she was put on a science diet and antibiotics, but she is still getting this issue. What can help her with this issue?
Sometimes you need to do blood work to make sure there's no inherent problems with the kidneys. Sometimes you actually need to take a look at the bladder, doing an ultrasound. Maybe there's some architectural reasons, something going on in the bladder itself. I would also recommend, again, looking at those girl parts. Too often, I mean, it's not the most fun place, let me take a look, dog. They don't especially appreciate it either. But if you don't take a look, you may go, oh, I didn't realize there was this overhang. And if you're not keeping that area clean, you can use baby wipes. And there are times that, especially if it's a recurrent issue, where we need to do, I call it upside down happy face. You get rid of that excessive tissue. And again, they don't have to be overweight. So that may be a reason for it. But maybe you weren't giving the antibiotics long enough, if it was a bacterial infection, or it actually.
Now, she really had something good to say there. She froze up again. Well, I'm going to keep scrolling just to see if I'm trying to find that.
What our next question can be. Hopefully we'll get Dr. Bernadine back here shortly. There we go. We've got her.
She is.
I'm watching the little wheel go round and round, and you're talking about me. And yes, make sure you give the antibiotics long enough. If the doctor says you need to do more testing to find out what the bug is that's in there, find out. Sometimes spend that money. Take a look at your girl parts.
Excellent. This one is probably a pretty quick one. Can we use our Bladder Support Plus for dogs as well as cats? Answer is yes. And is there an age we cannot use it?
No, there's not. Nothing is going to harm your pet. So if there's an indication to use it, please feel free to.
Yeah. The main thing is when people call in or ask support or writing questions, the main thing, as I mentioned before, it's a preventative. So it's not going to cure anything. You need to cure it with everything that Bernadine was saying, everything your doctor says to do. And once it's cured, then you go on the preventative, because you do not want to, it's just painful to deal with these things, and it's costly and time consuming, etc. Okay, so let's do this, because I'm seeing what the time is right now. Let's switch gears and go to Hairball. So Roger, do you want to go ahead and show the Hairball?
Absolutely. Let's share my screen. We'll go back to our YouTube page, and let's find our Hairball video. Let's see.
Hey Roger, before you do that,
yes.
I found one of the questions. So just real quick, Alicia's asking if you have a cat that's had crystals and the vet has the cat on a UTI RX food, and you want to switch to Patri, is it best to do a mix or a full switch?
Most of the companies actually say the prescription diets that they're not meant to be on indefinitely. So what I'll usually do is say, okay, get the issue under control, food for as long as it's necessary. It may take follow-up urinalysis to find out, are the crystals gone? Make sure your kitty's drinking enough water. Then gradually, over like a week or so, start adding in the paw tree food so you don't have the GI upset. You can always do a little Gastro Pro Plus at the same time. Make sure the tummy's nice and healthy. And then if you really, really want to be cautious, it's a great idea after they've been on the new food for about a month or so, get a urinalysis, repeat it to make sure that everything is normal. Because there are those cats and dogs who, even though they could be on a prescription diet, they can still have stones reform. So when in doubt, just retest. It's a lot less expensive. It's better for your kitty and your dog. Retest that urine.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so thank you. Let's switch gears and let's go to hairballs.
Excellent. And while I'm looking this up, Brooke, I know we didn't plan to talk about the ear wash and dry, but there's questions on that. If you want to grab, while I'm showing this video, either the product or ingredients from the website, or if you've got them handy, we'll ask a couple questions of Dr. Bernadine that she want to know what the actual ingredients are in it before she answers. So that'll get that queued up. I'm going to go to my share screen and let's talk about Hairball. Let's see, we'll go here and play our video.
Hairballs are a real problem with cats, especially long-haired cats. Why? Because they're always grooming themselves. Even if you brush all the time, they still get hairballs.
An all-natural supplement is a great way to help prevent or eliminate hairballs. Patri's Hairball Support Plus is a comprehensive supplement that contains fiber and oils that help to move the hair through their digestive system so cats can eliminate it normally. It contains natural ingredients like flaxseed, psyllium husk, salmon oil, and dried pumpkin.
We would have hairballs all the time, and so the cats would eat their food, and then all of a sudden, here comes the hairball. Just put the supplement into their wet food, and it helps with the hairballs, and we definitely has cut down on the amount of hairballs that we have by like 90%.
Patri's Hairball Support Plus is an all-natural supplement and safe to give your cat every day. Make hairballs a thing of the past.
All right. So Roger, is the question from Joe? I've heard our ear wash is great for keeping recesses, vulvas, etc. clean. Is that the one? Is this correct?
Yeah, and that's, I think, a follow-up on Anne had a question similarly, asking whether the ear wash and dry can be used on the girl parts.
Okay, I wasn't understanding that. Okay, got it. All right.
Yes,
So
it can be reused on the girl parts, and it's nice and it's soothing, so you just got to keep those areas clean.
All right. So ear wash has yucca, aloe vera, chamomile, tea tree oil, clove oil, and echinacea. Those are the ingredients. So is that safe to use on the girl parts?
Yes, it's safe to use on the girl parts all around. You're not getting it inside the girl parts. You're just cleaning around the edges.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. I don't think I'd use the dry, but anyway. Okay. So now let's go to Hairball. So Bernadine, what are hairballs? Why do they happen? Tell us a little bit about hairballs. It's kind of a fun topic.
I know you are a dog owner, but those of us have cats and have had dogs too. If you've ever been licked by a cat, they have those really rough tongues. So all those little projections on their tongues are great for just brushing themselves. And as they groom themselves, it catches a lot of fur. The way that those little projections are pointed backwards, they have no choice. They can't spit it out. They have to swallow that fur. So you get enough of that fur inside their tummies. The food will sometimes act as a little ball valve. Sometimes things like the food goes over, sometimes it hit it, the food comes up. Oftentimes it's the food and the hairball. And there are times in every cat owner's life, you look at the ground, you're going, I wonder what end that came out of. It could be poop, it could be a hairball, I'm not really sure, but it shouldn't be on the floor. So you don't want that to happen. And as that irritation is going through a cat's digestive tract, especially older cats, they're very prone to getting constipation. So if they get constipated, that's not very comfortable. It can get so severe that they literally need to be put under anesthesia and have the poop pulled out of their bodies. You don't want a pet to go there. So keeping everything going through their system, and the Hairball Support Plus is fabulous because it's natural, it tastes good, the animal wants to eat it, and it just keeps things going through. Use that along with brushing. You have to brush these babies. Get yourself in the habit. And the only way I could get myself into it, because if I don't do it, my cats will remind me by spitting up, preferably on the bed. So every night they all get brushed, and I leave that brush where I keep my pajamas. So I brush my teeth, I put on my pajamas, I brush the cats. The hairballs, along with the hairball formula, has been fabulous.
Wow. So you started to touch on this, but I just want to know, are hairballs, dangerous for cats? How would a pet parent know if there's something more serious going on than just a hairball?
Sometimes they're vomiting, and is it a hairball or is it something else going on with the GI tract? If we know that we've been brushing and using a product like Hairball Plus, then that is really further down on the line. But that hair can cause a major obstruction. I've had to go in surgically and remove what looked like a tennis ball of just wet felt, and that wet felt was a hairball. It can go through the intestinal tract. It can cause obstructions going through the intestines. You don't need that. Keep everything moving through.
Excellent. And are some cats more prone to hairballs than others?
Old cats are very prone to it. Fat cats that aren't good at grooming themselves. And I'm looking at my cat jumping on a bird feeder outside going after a bird, but she missed. So it's really good, because I would have to stop this and go get that kitty right now. But even my young cat that tried to get the bird will still get hairballs every once in a while. It is a cat thing. But old cats, overweight cats, arthritic cats that can't get to those positions, those babies seem to be more prone.
Long-haired are more prone to, correct?
Yes, sorry,
And
yes.
we were talking about anxiety earlier. Cats who maybe have anxiety, maybe anxious, maybe grooming themselves more. So maybe anxiety-ridden cat would be another option?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, because sometimes, the best thing they can do is, okay, when in doubt, start grooming themselves. If you've ever seen two cats about and get a fight outside or even inside in your house, all of a sudden one of them will stop frequently and start taking a bath. It's like, why are you taking a bath? Because it's kind of gentleman's rules, cat's rules, that if you're grooming, you can't fight. So cats that are stressed will overgroom. You'll see hair loss in places, arms, legs, tummies, and those hairballs.
Wow. I was also reading that cats not only groom themselves, but they groom other cats.
And sometimes they groom their humans. And you'll find that some of the worst hairballs, if you have somebody with longer hair and the cat's been sitting there grooming because you think that it's cute, and now it tries to pass it in the stool. So check your cat's poop too. You may not be seeing a hairball coming up this way, but if all of a sudden you're starting to see hard little poop, and you see a little hard poop, a little bit of hair, hard poop, a little bit of hair, sacrilegious kind of a rosary bead of poop, then you know you're having an issue.
I love your descriptions.
You want Tootsie Rolls. You want Tootsie Rolls.
There you go.
Okay. Are there things that we can do to help reduce the occurrence of hairballs?
Brushing is going to be so important. A very good diet. If you have a pet on a good diet like pottery, then they're going to be shedding less. Using salmon oil, that keeps the skin and coat in good condition. so they're going to be shedding less. Yes, you're going to be brushing at least once a day. If you have a pet that just says, I do not like to be brushed and groomed, and there are those, maybe it's just their tummy, and that's where they're getting mad at, and they're getting hairballs from that area, they may need to have that special little haircut. So they turn into little lion cuts, so their bodies are shaved short, and it's going to make it easier for them. They're not going to be adjusting that fur.
That's awesome. I want to look through the questions. I mean, you've given us just a wealth of information here, and I want to just scan.
One, Brooke, which is a little bit, it's a little unusual, Dr. Bernadine, but the question, I think it's a great question. Not one I would have thought to ask. Can the hairball support be used on long-haired dogs who may eat their hair between brushing?
Sure. I mean, it's not going to be anything that's going to hurt them. Dosing wise, you probably have to check with Brooke or check a label to see how much do you give a German Shepherd besides half a bottle at a time. It might be a lot. But probably for that animal, yes, they're ingesting their fur, but they should not be shedding that much. And if they are, maybe something like the wild Alaskan salmon oil, again, would help their skin and coat, especially if they're itchy, they're going to start grooming more. And something I like to bring up, totally off the subject, you're talking about the ear cleaner being used on the girl parts before. One of the trick, oftentimes dogs and cats don't like their ears being cleaned because we all know that their ears are constructed so differently than ours. Instead of going straight in and being short as ours does, it goes alongside of the face and right about the angle of the turn. The jaw takes a right angle turn. So if you warm it up, that makes it so much better. Big cup of hot water, like you can make tea. Put that ear cleaner bottle in there till it's baby bottle temperature. Flood the canal till you see the liquid come to the top. Massage 30 seconds or so. Let them shake their head. Clean out the extra with a cotton ball. That warming it's like, spa treatment. So much better.
Wonderful tip.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Candy wrote in, she has 5 cats. She gives them the Hairball Med in the tube. Hairball Med in the tube. And also tried the treat ones. So I'm not sure if she's using this particular product, which they don't care for the treat ones. I buy from pet store. I give them every day, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. They're still throwing up hairballs at least 3 times a week. I do brush them all. Any suggestions on how to get these hairballs under control?
Well, find a product. Yeah, find a product that the cats like. So yes, there are several different gel forms. Usually it's petroleum jelly based, so it doesn't get absorbed into the body, and they're pleasantly cat flavored. But if you remember being a child, anything that was pleasantly child flavored, that was cherry flavors, like this does not taste like any cherry I have ever eaten. This is not good. So you may need to find one that the cats like. I don't know if she's tried the Pawtree formula, but most kitties just seem to love that stuff, and it's guaranteed, so they don't like it, you can always send it back. But doing that and brushing daily, and maybe it's a type of brush. If you have a brush that just goes over the surface, no, you need something that actually gets down in there. Many people, there's a brand called a Furminator. Furminators are great at getting a lot of hair, but it leaves a lot of fur behind. So you can use a Furminator, but then follow it up with a fine tooth comb, or I call a slicker brush. Has a little teeth in it, metal teeth, and that's great for getting that last bit of fur so they're not licking it. But she may need to brush a bit more, and if the cat's still spitting up hairballs, then it's maybe not a hairball issue, but something like inflammatory bowel disease. It could be something totally different. See your vet.
Definitely. Roger, you seen anything else? I'm trying to scroll.
I've got one here. Nicole, my ragdoll cat, furniture cat, never has had a hairball. Is it just because the cat's only 8 months old? I mean, she is frequently cleaning and refuses to be brushed.
Don't ask why, just say thank you. But the best thing to do is, I love being preventive. Being proactive is one of the best things you can do for our own health or for our pets. So feeding that good food, brushing that cat a lot. So if it's not having problems now, great. Hopefully it never does. It gets used to being brushed. And using a product like the Hairball Plus is wonderful, keeps everything moving through. Nothing that can hurt that kitty.
Wonderful.
Oh, this is an interesting question. Joey's asking, can fishy things like salmon oil make UTIs worse for cats?
No, because fish oils are going to be anti-inflammatory. There are omega-3 properties to it. So, no, I've never heard that.
Interesting. And will giving salmon oil for hairballs, does it work better than actually the hairball med?
No, because the oils are actually going to be absorbed into the body. Like I was saying, some of the over-the-counter products are petroleum jelly that coats it and helps push it through the body. If it just gets absorbed, that hair is sitting there going, missed me. So you want the fiber to actually grab some of it, the fiber, and then just push everything on through.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
All right. I'm not seeing anything else. Sorry, we're trying to catch everything, guys, but things, it's scrolling fast here.
Well, one thing I can maybe say to wrap up, unless did you have anything else that was on your mind, Dr. Bernadine, that you wanted to share?
I think the main thing is if there is an infection, make sure you give the medication until it's gone and do all the follow-ups. Yes, it is an investment in your pet's health, but instead of having a problem that you just never seem to get under control, do it. Keep the teeth in good condition. It sounds crazy, but the bacteria that should go from the mouth to the bum, if there's bad teeth, can get into the system where it can affect the liver, the kidneys, the joint, and the heart muscle. So if it's affecting the kidneys, that can be a source of a bacterial infection for the bladder. Check the girl parts. Oftentimes checking under the hood is important. Do those things, good diet, genetics, and luck. That's what it always comes down to, it seems.
Well, you're brilliant, and this time together is just it always proves very valuable. I know to Brooke, to me, and to so many who are watching, on Facebook now, and who will have the opportunity to watch later as this is shared. So we appreciate you, Dr. Bernadine. You're just wise and filled with lots of wonderful tips for us, and we appreciate you taking the time today to be with us.
And I appreciate Pawtree. I mean, it is a fabulous company, and you and the philosophy behind it, having this unconditional love where everyone thrives, it's fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's very nice of you. I appreciate that compliment, and I take it very sincerely. And I will just say, as we wrap up this session, if you've listened to these comments, I mean, there's so many wonderful insights that Dr. Bernadine has shared. If you have hairball issues at all with your pets, or if you have bladder, UTI, any kind of history of UTIs with your pets, I invite you to try our products and see for yourselves that they work. And just like Dr. Bernadine said a few minutes ago, that the best case is you're going to literally change your pet's life and help them with something that they struggle with. And by virtue of helping them, you're going to help yourself. We all know that none of us like to be the pet parent of a pet that's struggling with issues. It can be frustrating ourselves. And the worst is going to happen is if it doesn't work, which I'm confident it will. But if it doesn't, if you're that doubter who says, well, but it may not work. Well, you know what? The worst thing that's going to happen is we'll give you your money back, and you can try it. Basically, call it a free sample. So that's how strongly I feel about our products. We take an uncompromising approach to nutrition. We really do. Every product we make, we start with the end in mind and say, how can this help pets thrive and help people thrive by helping their pets thrive? And then we formulate and manufacture and develop to make sure that it delivers on that result. So with that, I can say with confidence, I hope that if you watch this and you have any issues along these lines, go right now and try the product and see for yourself. And that will also, by the way, purchasing any product today from us at Pawtree today will put you eligible for the drawing, which our next drawing will be at 6 p.m. Central. Here in just about 20 minutes, we'll have another drawing, and we'll draw 3 people. And all you have to do to get in the drawing is make a purchase from us today, or become a Pet Pro today. And either of those will make you eligible for the drawing. So with that, our next, I want to just give a quick shout out to what's coming next. We've got at 6 p.m. Central, we'll have Dr. Tony Kramer on, and we'll be talking about joint health, mobility challenges for pets. At 7 p.m. Central, we'll talk about pet food seasoning, picky eaters, etc., with our vet guest, Dr. Sandy Willis. And our last live of the evening will be 8 p.m. tonight about earning an income with Pottery with our special guest, Amber Sanders, one of our 3-star vice presidents. So with that in mind, I hope to see you back here shortly. We'll be back again in 20 minutes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't. There's a question Candy's asking. I think I missed the first question, but she's asking for, I tried salmon oil with my dogs before and they don't like the smell, so they wouldn't eat their food. So I think she's wanting to know, does our salmon oil smell? So again, Candy, so we have 2 salmon oils. We have our pure salmon oil, wild Alaskan salmon oil, our gold standard. This is fabulous 13-to-1 ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. It is absolutely fabulous. And I know that we're not talking about salmon oil today or, right now, but the net is you just need to try it and see, because I don't know what salmon oil you've tried before. Now, the other thing that we have is a product called salmon oil drops. And we came out with salmon oil drops, which are basically chews, because it's made with salmon in a special processing way where it doesn't have odor to it. So if there is odor, you find odor from this one, try this one. I'll get this right one of these days. Try this one. But just try them, because I don't know what you've been trying before. The thing of it is, I will always tell you, do the oil number 1, because it gives you the 13-to-1 ratio. The salmon oil drops only have a 4-to-1 ratio because of the mechanism of the delivery system of the drops. But both are good. Salmon oil is so important. You need to just use it. So
wonderful.
Sorry.
Excellent. Glad we could get that last one in. Once again, Dr. Bernadine, thank you for being with us. Very generous of your time. And on behalf of everybody who's watched today, thank you for all the wonderful insights you shared.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Brooke. We'll see you all back in 20 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.